Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with the gang for another episode, number 104. Got Chad, Nick, Travis, and Kai, and Jose's gone today. No Jose. But, yeah, how you guys doing?
Got to get the new guy hours.
Yeah, get those new guy hours. Hey, in fairness, he's out doing a video shoot. So
I'm just kidding. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
Fantastic.
Good.
we doing
Weather's
better.
finally better, so we can start actually going outside and not dealing with snow.
It is nice outside.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be better if I had some pulled pork.
We're going to go there right away. Huh? Perfect.
I thought we were going to wait a little bit.
No,
but
I'm going right into it. I'm still pissed about it. We were supposed to have pulled pork, sponsored by.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little,
Belinda
bit,
Peters
a
over
little
here.
bit of a snafu overnight on Saturday, and one thing led to another, and it turns out I didn't want to bring in the pulled pork and get everybody sick, so we rescheduled it for another
So
Monday.
instead of giving him a hard time, so next time he brings it in, so we all get sick.
Yeah,
Well, next time, don't make those decisions for me. Maybe I want to eat it and get sick.
fair enough. I guess I didn't think that through.
Who are
very
you
well.
to make?
I mean, the
decisions?
picture of it in the garbage, I was like, that still looks like good meat, but whatever.
It's funny. I thought the same thing when he sent me the picture of it. I was like, it doesn't look that bad if it didn't have the garbage around it.
yeah, put it in the oven. Let's just get it done.
Just cook all the bad stuff back out of it?
Yeah,
just-
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, you know? You guys take enough days off already. I don't need to give you any more.
Wow.
Ow.
Bold statement. Bold statement. What'd you guys do this weekend besides wreck my pulled pork?
Like Saturday, it rained, so stayed inside, and Sunday went golfing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Did you go racing?
I did. Friday night, we went racing. We won. No big deal.
Like you finished?
Yeah. I definitely finished the race first.
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
So that's how Friday night went.
That's awesome.
Saturday-
Was it just one race, and you won the one race, or
2 races.
and then
You have
only
the
won
qualifying
one?
race, and then you have the feature, and I won the big one, the feature.
What happened qualifying?
Well, there was a little incident. Started last. Drove near the
Finished
front.
last.
Near the front. No, finished second. Finished second. But buddy of mine and I were racing for the lead, and his car broke, and he crashed really hard, and it spun me out.
That sucks.
Yeah,
You
felt
didn't-
bad for him.
You
He
didn't
totaled
get
his
out
car.
And, you didn't get out and grab him by the jersey and then punch him in the face like they did on the NASCAR race, did you?
No, that's no. We're friends.
Did that happen recently?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'll have to go look that up.
Dude got out of the race and punched the other guy in the head.
Yeah, dude, he smoked him too. Like
Yeah.
he hit him hard. Just
You hear it
out
on
of the blue.
camera.
Yeah.
You hear his knuckles at this dude's face.
Wow.
But no, we definitely didn't have any of that. I actually felt bad for my buddy. Like I said, he wrecked his car, but it's part of racing. Been there, done that. So I was just fortunate that my car didn't have too much damage from that. So yeah, but no, we won Friday, and then Saturday my son played hockey. And we had a birthday party. Went to Barbie birthday party on Saturday. That was fun for my niece.
Did you dress as Barbie?
I did not. Did not dress as Barbie.
I think we had a ShopSabre employee that was, though. I thought I see it on the book.
I was just about to say
Not
something
dressed
like,
as Barbie.
Well, he would have been Ken.
Yeah, he dressed as Ken. Well, we were supposed to. I came from hockey with my son, so I didn't.
You just did the haircut.
No, yeah, I just did the haircut.
Bald Ken.
Bald Ken. That's what I was. Yeah, no, but yeah, we had a bunch of people there, and yeah, it was both my nieces' birthday parties. So they had a Barbie party. Go ahead, I'm ready.
So was your brother dressed as?
He's Ken. He
Was
was
he?
all Kenned out. Yeah.
Why don't we have a picture of that? We can show everybody.
Oh, there's pictures of it. I
Is
can
there?
show you. Oh yeah, there's lots of them.
Nice.
I
His
haven't
wife
seen
went as
that.
Barbie. He went as Ken. Like the whole family dressed up. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. They did a really good job. I was impressed. My brother.
And then you were the party pooper.
No. There's a lot of people that weren't dressed up. But we did use a ShopSabre to make a Barbie sign, which was pretty cool. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was a pretty cool sign that my brother made using a ShopSabre. Nice. And then Sunday, I don't think we did a whole lot. I did yard work. Oh, I did yard work because my wife drove through the yard with her car. That was cool.
Better than hitting somebody in the parking lot.
It's true. It's true. But she definitely drove through our yard. So I had
Was the mailbox safe?
the mailbox was safe, barely. But yeah, no, it rained, as you guys said, all day Saturday. Sunday, had a buddy over, and he parked his truck in the middle of the driveway. My wife came home, and rather than like parking in the driveway and being like, hey, can you move the truck? She just decided, I'm just going to drive around the truck. It's not that hard. I'll just drive around it. Well, the yard was a little soggy for that big vehicle of hers to drive through the yard. And needless to say, she found out the hard way when there was mud all the way down the side of her car, in my driveway, and into my garage.
Maybe Chad is onto something with this whole, our fiancés and wives has caused us all sorts of trouble this weekend. Maybe Chad's onto something with just living the single life.
It's the best life.
The best life. What about you, Travis? Anything fun this weekend?
Yard work, dirt
Terrible.
bikes, four-wheelers, Harley ride, went to a funeral.
Terrible. Sorry.
That's about it.
Well, you had me at all the other stuff till you said funeral. You really wrecked that one for me, so I'm gonna move on. Hey, Nick.
Party pooper.
Yeah. How'd your weekend go?
It was actually really uneventful. Saturday obviously was kind of crummy.
For
Sunday,
multiple reasons, just for the record.
yeah. Sunday I didn't feel very well. I pretty much slept all day, honestly.
I'd feel bad too if I wrecked a bunch of meat for the guys at work.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe that. Yeah,
I bet that's what it is. I
He
bet
was
you were
just worried
heartbroken.
probably
sick.
was. Yeah,
You
I
were
bet you're
worried sick.
heartbroken.
Yeah.
It's okay. We forgive you.
I'll make it up to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Ribs.
You like ribs? See, here's the thing though. Like, if I make ribs, how are reheated ribs any good? I guess I don't eat them, so I don't know. I mean, can you just cook them and then bring them in and throw them in a crock pot for a few
Why
hours?
don't you just
rewarm
bring them
them
in hot at 8 o'clock in the morning and get to town?
So you're telling me put them on at 2 a.m. and get up every couple hours to fix.
How
them
long
up
does it
for
take
you?
them?
6 hours.
Okay, so if you bring your smoker with you to work, you get here at 4. Yeah, I don't see why you don't do that. Just get here at 4 a.m.
So bring the kitchen right to the job site.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
It's only like an hour earlier than you're usually here.
Yeah, you're here
anyhow.
at 4:45 anyways. You might as well.
What time do you get here?
4:45. He sits in the parking lot till they open at 6.
Yeah, what he said.
He's here at 6 every morning.
That's not true because nobody's here to open the doors till 6:45.
Okay, he's here at 6.
Do you get here at 6:45?
He's here at 6:30
7.
every morning.
6:45, 7.
He's lying to you right now. 6:30 every morning on the dot. I get a Snapchat from
Chad's
him.
looking at me like I thought you were here early.
That's what time I get out.
I get a Snapchat from him every morning of him rolling to work, and it's
I've
Before 7.
never once sent you one coming into work. It's always on the way here.
yeah, as I said, on the way into work.
That's fair.
Yeah, and
But you don't know at what point.
But it's
of the
always
job it
before
is.
7.
True.
Every single time, it's before 7. If I get a Snapchat from him after 7, I know he's late. He's early, but he's late. So, just for the record, he's always here that early. So yeah, you might as well just bring it with you. Just start cooking that. Because think about it, even if you start at 7, 6 hours, that's lunchtime.
We're done at 1. Yeah.
I might be onto something here, guys.
Maybe. Either
No, don't bring it here.
Either
please.
on something or onto something.
Don't bring it here because then everybody in the back will
I was gonna say
Eat all
we're
my
not gonna
ribs.
get anything.
they're gonna eat all my ribs. Somebody will eat it at 10 a.m. break.
Yeah.
I
It
was
won't
just
be
gonna
done yet.
Set it up right by the mills and just let them all smell it all day and then
There we go.
take it away.
That sounds productive.
You get nothing.
That sounds productive. Yeah, that would be anti-time management tips. You know, last week we talked about time management tips. I think the smell of ribs throughout your building is probably not good time management.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Make a lot of people hungry.
What are we going to talk about today, guys?
Things your CNC machine can do that you probably didn't realize.
That sounds like a good topic.
Good job, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
You're the
Things
man.
your machine can do that you didn't realize. Episode 104, season 2. Who's taking it away? Me? Okay, I'll do it. Just checking. No, I wanted to talk to you guys about it because, you know, obviously that was what we talked about doing. You know, many people own CNC machines and they listen to this, and I think a lot of people overthink adding a CNC machine. You know, they think they have to have more to understand than they do to get started. And honestly, some people just don't think they even need one, which still blows me away. That there's a lot of shops that still think they can get by without CNC technology when they're in a manufacturing world. You know, but one common situation that I have found, and maybe you guys agree or disagree, and feel free to throw in your opinions, but is most people don't realize some of the capabilities that they're going to end up having at their fingertips. They just think about like the one reason they were buying the machine. And I guess, do you guys ever see situations where you're, you know, teaching people about the technology? You know, some of these people can be pretty savvy people too. You talk to them and it's like, yeah, they got their crap together. And then they don't even realize what they could be doing with this machine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how many different materials the one machine can cut. Even like wood guys don't realize they can cut plastic or aluminum. You know, plastic guys don't really realize what it could do with wood. I mean, it's always
Do you think it's like that laser focus because you're so like, again, a wood guy, as you said, right?
This
You're a
is
cabinet
what
guy.
I do.
Correct. Yeah. Like you don't think about plastic because how often do you cut plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't realize that I added this technology. Now we can cut plastic. We could, I've always, what blows me away, I think in the cabinetry world for me is along that line of what you're talking about, Chad, is, I mean, how many people could be building garage cabinets?
Or signs.
But it's, yeah, exactly. I mean, you're in these people's homes anyways, right? You see their man cave, you see their workshop, you see all the stuff in their house, and you could build a cool man cave sign. You could build a LED backlit, sign or, address sign or whatever, right? You could build them a cool set of garage cabinets, but everybody just thinks about the wood cabinets they've been building and the way they do it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these cabinets people build for homes are freaking gorgeous. Like we posted one last week on our social media that was absolutely gorgeous, done with a ShopSabre. But you don't think about what about the cabinet? If you want to put aluminum cabinets in your garage, right?
I didn't even think about that.
Like you can cut aluminum with these machines, or die bond. You can do that. Like there's multiple ways, and I get it. There's cheaper materials than these materials, but if you're in $1 million home putting in cabinets in a kitchen, why wouldn't they want some cool cabinets or something for their garage, right?
Yep.
Right.
Like maybe they don't want the cheap cabinets. They don't want something that's cost effective. They want something that's unique. And that CNC machine opens up versatility there, does it not? It gives you the ability to do stuff that maybe you don't know what. I mean, most guys aren't going to make a cabinet out of aluminum plastic on their table saw because they don't know what they're doing with it. The CNC machine, you stick a bit in there for it, and you let the same file that you were cutting for the cabinets in the house cut the stuff out in the garage.
Correct.
So that's something that, like you said, these cabinet makers and these plastic guys, they don't sometimes look outside their material, that what they're used to doing every day.
Just like if you're putting cabinets in someone's cabin, you don't think that they want some kind of welcome to my cabin sign?
Everybody's got those too.
I know, they're awesome.
Or like a table. Think about that. Like
Yep.
we used to have a customer of ours. I don't know if we still do or not. That's why I say used to. He still could be a customer, and I apologize. But it's years ago when I first started. It was many, many years ago. He was cutting with a CNC machine topographical lake maps.
I've seen those. Those are cool.
Sweet.
And he was using his machine to cut these the lakes that they were on. So as an example, I'm just going to throw one out there, but like Crystal Lake, right? If you lived on Crystal Lake, you would say, I want a Crystal Lake topographical map. He'd go to the DNR, get it, he'd figure it out, and he'd cut these things out of wood. And then he was literally taking that wood and turning it into a table. So he'd put glass over the top of it, have legs off it, and all that. And people were putting that in their cabins or their homes because you literally sit down at the table with all your friends. They're playing cards or whatever they're doing. And the table they're playing on is literally the lake map of the lake they're at.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
I actually sold a machine to a customer that does just that for fish houses.
Yeah.
They epoxy them and they put them in as a table in their fish house. So in your fish house, your favorite lake is your table. You get to look at that map. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, but that's things that you don't, like you said, sometimes think about. Like you're in the cabin anyways doing a project or doing something. Why wouldn't they want these, welcome to our cabin signs?
You've already sold them a job.
Yeah.
I mean, you're there to sell them stuff.
Right.
Or
And-
if nothing else, you might be just giving them a thank you gift for taking that job on.
I got a cutting board when I bought my house that said my last name on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's another thing that we see a lot of is people doing those inlay cutting boards. And, I actually bought a cutting board with our last name inlaid in it by a customer of ours. Ethan's his name. And Ethan is, God, at the time, I think he was 12. 12. His dad bought the machine. Him and his dad had it. And Ethan was building these cutting boards. And I saw it. And I messaged him. And, yeah, we ended up having Ethan make us a cutting board for our house. And my wife loves it. Like, it's the greatest thing. Like, obviously, could I have made it too? Yeah. But, like, he was already doing it. And I saw what he was doing. I'm like, well, he's already got to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. Just do it. I'll pay you to do it. And it's a really cool thing to have in our house. But you think about that. Like, if you were going to do cabinets for somebody, you could throw in, you could do, hey, we could throw in a little bit more, uniqueness to this. I can make you a cutting board in the countertop. Or, you've seen that in the homes. You walk in and they have the countertop that has the cutting board built into it. What if that cutting board was unique?
That'd be awesome.
How many times have you guys seen that established thing for, new families where it says established in 2001, right? Whenever they got married or whatever. You could have one of those in your cutting board, right? Have that in the house.
Yep.
And guess what? That's returning business later on because when that person goes to move, they're going to take the cutting board with them. The next person needs a cutting board. Boom.
Or even people that come over to the house and see how awesome the cutting board is
Correct.
and the cabinets, and
Yeah.
now they're like, who did that?
So, that's a good thing. I mean, Chad, I kind of piggybacked off what you said there. I know, Travis, you look like you have some ideas in mind.
I was actually going to say I had a cabinet customer that obviously was focused on cabinetry.
Yep.
And he says, now I'm getting all these customers that want these river tables. And he says, I need a machine that can do that too. He didn't think, he thought he'd have to buy a second machine.
Yeah.
And I said, this machine will do them both.
And you're like, great, I can sell you a second one. Wait, no.
I would have liked to. But the guy, I told him, I said, you could do just about anything that you wanted, because he also mentioned doing some outdoor furniture. But the outdoor furniture is made of PVC. So
Yep.
again, he had no idea
Yep.
that you could do that all on this table. You're just changing a tool.
Right.
The file is going to be very similar. It's flat files, but change the tool.
Yeah, and then that's a good point there, because you think about all the people who do the basic work with their machine, right? Cutting the cabinets out, the cabinet parts. But you don't think about the ability to do your own doors, your own drawers, the live edge stuff that you're talking about, the river run tables. All of those things can be done with that same machine that you just bought.
Yep.
And I think that's where those capabilities that people oversee is that when people say, well, we really don't need a CNC machine for our shop, but you're cutting cabinets all day. Like, for one, it's going to speed up what you're doing already. But then think about all these capabilities that you don't have right now. Like, you have to find somebody skilled enough to come into your shop to build these items by hand if you don't have a piece of equipment that can do it. It's a lot harder to find a person that's skilled in these things, is it not?
Absolutely. And think of the toll on your body long term.
Yeah. And you talk about, Chad said, that the welcome to our cabin sign, right? Well, your guys in your shop might be really, really good at building cabinets, but can they build that sign? Maybe not, right? That might be something that you don't have the ability to do because nobody in your shop is talented enough to build a good sign, maybe, right? A 3-dimensional sign or a carving or something like that. So, yeah, and specifically, this week we did a project, which is coming to YouTube soon, right, Kyle? We're working on a project, but we're going to showcase creating a reeded, or some people call it a beaded door. I'm pretty excited about that. Sean Morley showed that off. CNC Sean. He's, so many people know they can cut their cabinet doors, but they basically stop at shaker doors, right? I mean, that's what they do. We see so many customers cut shaker doors all day long, but not realizing they can do a raised panel door, right? You could do a raised panel door, or in this case, we're doing a full beaded or reeded door that you're going to see in this project. And it's something that Sean did in a very big job. And we demonstrated on the video that this reeded door can be done with a CNC machine. You don't need to go buy yourself a big shaper. You don't have to do that. And obviously, are there other machines out there that you could do it? Yeah, absolutely. But if you already own a CNC router and you're already utilizing it for your business, and it's not running 7 days a week, 8 hours a day or more, then you have the downtime with the machine to make more money.
Absolutely.
And so as you start looking at things, that's something that, I think about. You have to open the door, and that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit is, do you ever feel that people buy a machine with a closed mind? They buy it because they want to do one thing and they get so laser focused on that, they literally walk past so many opportunities and revenue and ways they could further benefit from owning that machine.
I think so. I think that kind of plays into what we were talking about above, is they get so one track that they're probably overlooking, people next door to them that might need CNC work done, not going and asking the question.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm glad you said the people next door, because that's something I wanted to talk about. Like, how many cabinet guys know cabinet guys?
Probably all of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Right? I mean, they know somebody in the industry. How many of them could benefit from just selling their capabilities to what previously was considered a competitor?
Probably almost all of them as well.
I mean, I would think so. Like, you could just go to another shop and say, yeah, even though we're both bidding on the same jobs, right? I'll cut parts for you for this much money. If they can get it done local and get it done, then who cares if you win or lose the job?
Yep.
Because you're still getting a portion of that job every time, and that customer wins, right? Because they get the cabinets they want. But at the end of the day, both shops really win too, because the guy is going to need somebody to cut his parts anyways. A lot of shops, there's a lot of shops out there that do already outsource their cutting. Like, that's a very big industry.
Yeah,
And
we talked to them quite a bit.
correct. I was just going to say, is that not somebody that you guys talk to, that
All the time.
custom cabinet makers who really are paying somebody else to do the cutting for them?
I always hear, I'm sick of waiting, I'm sick of paying their price.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing, is you're paying for their machine, right? So that's another reason to own your machine. But in the case that you are the guy who owns the machine, there's people out there that just A, don't want to take the time to learn the machine, B, might not have the space, whatever their excuse is for not buying a CNC machine, capitalize on it. Be the shop that's willing to charge them to use your machine.
Taking the lazy road.
I mean, it's sad, but it's true.
A lot of people do it.
There's a lot of people in this world that would rather not put the work in themselves. It's easier for them to pay somebody else to do the job.
Correct.
And that's fine. Be the guy who they're paying then, or be the gal who they're paying.
You get a handful of customers too that just assume that to do the work they need to, you're going to spend $250,000 or more.
Well, that's the problem right there, is that there's this common misconception out there that CNC machines still cost $250,000 to do what you need to do.
Yep.
The average shop getting started in CNC can get by with spending less than $75,000. Like I would say, it's not unheard of to be in that $50,000 to $75,000 range, depending on what your needs are.
Yep.
But people believe that I gotta go spend $250,000. I gotta have a loader. I need to have an unloader. Gotta have a drill head. I've gotta have boring machines. I gotta have you don't have to have any of that. Like the majority of people overthink the purchase when it comes to that, and they don't realize how much capability really comes with one machine.
Yep.
You don't need to go buy all this other junk. Like you can literally drill holes with the same machine that you cut the cabinets on.
And I'll always task my customers and tell them, what are you paying people to do your parts for you all year long? And if this machine does cost you, let's say $75,000, if you're paying somebody at least that to do that every year, this machine is going to get paid off within the first year. And then after that, you're not paying it any additional, other than just, your electric to run the dang thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about all the sign makers out there, okay? I've seen this a lot, and maybe you guys have too, but you hear it, on sales calls with them, like, oh man, if I get this machine, I could do my raised letter door or raised letter signs, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're outsourcing, they're paying somebody to do their braille. Like, why wouldn't you just use the same machine that you just said you have all this capability to do your raised letter signs? Why don't you just do your own braille signs too?
Yep.
Like, there's kits for that. You can buy that, and the machines can do that. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that they can do their own braille signs. They just got to buy some software that does the translating for them.
Correct.
It's a huge industry. It's massive.
For sure.
And you think about aluminum, right? We see a lot of customers who don't realize they can cut the aluminum, channel letters or the die bond or whatever material they're cutting, but they don't realize they can do it on the same machine they're cutting their plastic.
Correct.
Yeah, you cut your acrylic sign. Why don't you cut your die bond sign? We get people that get into the, color core plastics, right?
Yep.
I mean, we have a customer of ours just recently that did a whole golf course in the color core plastic. So he didn't have to paint a sign, and it's great for outdoor use. Like the majority of new playgrounds nowadays are made out of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like that's how they get the colors in the playgrounds, is it's made out of that plastic, and they're just cutting the shapes and the pieces that people need to build playgrounds. And you think about all that, like sign companies. You could be the guy cutting the playground parts.
Yep.
It's not just about signs, it's about all the other cutting you could be doing with that same machine. But again, I think people look beyond the capabilities of what their machine's able to do. What stops people from learning more about their machines, do you guys think?
Asking questions. Looking for help.
Yeah. You think they're afraid to ask questions, or they just don't want to?
I think it's that, like, for most people, that kind of male ego. Like, I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Yeah, I don't want to tell somebody I don't know how to do it.
I'm not going to bother them with that.
I get a handful of customers that just say, I feel like this is going to be a stupid question. Like, that's how they'll start it. They'll lead in with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you get the people that are just like stuck in their ways and they don't want to change, and they just
Yeah.
want to do it
Yep.
one way or stick to the
Yep.
same way they've been doing it before.
Those are what I call lifetime professionals. Because whatever they do, they're always the professional, and they can't learn from anybody, and it kills their business. They're not willing to listen to somebody else's ideas or suggestions.
Well, I think these guys do that every day. I mean, people call, asking questions about machines or wanting to put together a quote on a machine. And I hear you guys all the time telling them, well, it can do this. If,
Yeah.
you tell them those things all the time, and they just seem to not realize what the capabilities are with the little bit of, tooling or whatever they put on it. They can do so many more things.
And the funny thing for me is very seldom do I think any question a customer ever asks me is silly. I'll just tell them straight up, how are you going to know if you don't ask?
Right.
I've been doing this for 7 years, but you just started a month ago. I don't expect you to know the answers.
And we ask questions every day.
Correct.
Wow, is very nice.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask questions. Like, my thing is lack of training, I think. I think a lot of places, they get so gung-ho on what they bought the machine for, they never take the time to learn the machine. They just learn how to do the job. And it's the whole teach a man to fish deal, It's a lot of businesses, they get so, do it for me kind of a deal. Program this, I got to get this job going. And so somebody does it for them. They never actually learn how to utilize the programming and how to utilize the machine. They don't take the time to take advantage of the training and the things that come along with equipment. And then, like you said, they don't want to call the support and go through it. So they get that lack of training, where they just know how to do what they know how to do, and they don't have any idea on all the capabilities the machine could do if they had learned how to properly run it. Mm-hmm. Lack of direction, if you will.
Correct.
And, I don't know. Some of it might be just somebody doesn't know who to talk to, right? Depending who you bought the machine from.
Well, we got a team of people here that are happy and willing and able to talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge part of it too is, but let's go back to this. Our team's here ready to help you, but you have to make yourself available to do that.
Yep.
Correct.
So, I mean, I think another part of it is scheduling time, right? Mm-hmm. Their schedules, people pack their schedules so tight, they don't have enough time for the what ifs. Like, think about it. How many people have enough time in their schedule for if something goes wrong? There's a lot of people in this world that pack their schedule so tight that if something doesn't go perfect, they're screwed.
Yep.
And then they make it everybody else's problem. They start yelling at everybody, and they turn into these, what I call rage monsters, because they're so on the edge of out of control all the time that one thing going wrong screws their whole day up.
Yeah, like they're on such a straight schedule all day long that one little bump in the road and it's
Oh my God,
like the end of the world.
And they turn into nightmares of people to deal with.
Yep.
But if you can give yourself a little bit of extra time in the day and schedule things in there like time to learn, right? Mm-hmm. You can be so much more beneficial. Like your machine is going to do so much more for you.
I think that's one thing that I've heard a lot with, being the person that schedules a lot of our on-site training here at ShopSabre, and then we have the feedback forms that they fill out afterwards. And almost every person, one of the notes that they write on there is they did a great job explaining so many more things that we can do with our machine. You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Where that they come in and they're just like blown away by what they can do with the machine that they've had for however long that they had no idea about.
Yep.
Yeah, I have various responsibilities within the crew. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, really.
Is that what you'd say about yourself, Nick?
Some days, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the truth. Like that's actually where a lot of this topic comes from is that feedback we get from customers and how many people come to our training class, which is included with the machine, and then go, holy crap, I learned something. Yeah.
Well, and I think too, like, reach out right away when you have a question about something. Or if you become frustrated with something, reach out right away. Instead of letting it kind of snowball into a bigger mess than it needs to be, then you have to go back and undo everything that's been done wrong just because you were maybe afraid to ask that one single question at the beginning that could have been taken care of right away.
Well, there's so much too, like you said, waiting too long to ask the question or waiting too long to make a decision to buy the equipment or waiting too long to make the decision that you're going to do something new with the machine. And so you end up under this deadline that kind of handcuffs you. You don't have the time or can't afford the time to do more with it because you're so under the gun. It's I don't know. To me, that just seems like the bigger problem. Some people buy poor equipment. Let's be honest. I mean, that's some people's problem. Half their battle is they bought something that's shit, for lack of a better word.
Unfortunately, that happens, and most of the time when that happens, they're missing options.
Well, that's exactly it. They miss options. And the problem when you end up with that situation is people buy stuff on the internet, not talking to the company because they found it cheap enough, and they are convinced that a Chinese machine is the same quality as an American-made machine. And machine shows up, cookie cutter machine, right? I mean, they're pretty much all built the same. And then they find out it doesn't have some of the features or the features that they thought they would be getting. It doesn't work the way they thought it was. And now who do you talk to? Now you're under the gun because you've sold work or you need things done with the machine. You have a piece of equipment that's lacking in quality, capabilities, and support, and you're trying to run a business. So those companies end up in a situation where they don't realize all the things they could do with the machine because they're so handcuffed by what they did that it hurts them. Like, I think that's the biggest thing that I run into. I have a gentleman I've been working with recently who just recently got a ShopSabre, and he owned a import machine previous to owning a ShopSabre. And he got his ShopSabre up and running, and unfortunately, not a ShopSabre failure, but he had an issue with an air compressor. and the air compressor took his machine offline because obviously he needs an air compressor to run a ShopSabre. And he was very flustered by it because his whole business was built around this machine, the ShopSabre, and the quality. And he straight up told me, he's like, the machine cuts so much better than my old machine that I don't even want to go back to my old machine. He has both machines. He could keep running the other machine. He doesn't even want to waste his time because he said the quality that he's getting off of this machine versus the other one is such a difference that he didn't even realize how much of a difference it was going to make until he was running our machine with our quality. And I think that's what blows me away the most is that how many customers exist out there that own a CNC machine and don't realize how bad the cut quality is or the capabilities they have or the lack of ability they have because they've never experienced better.
Kind of goes back to that vacuum pump episode.
Yeah.
Where we talked about getting inadequate vacuum pumps and what that could do to your hold down and
Correct.
overall likelihood to want to use a CNC machine.
Well, I just think there's so much that goes into that. Like you said, the right options giving you the right capabilities, but some of it's just simply the right machine gives you the capabilities that you didn't realize you needed.
That's the thing that still blows my mind is how many times I hear you guys talking to people that have got inadequate machines or have bought something that doesn't work for them. Like, if it's your livelihood you're putting on the line, don't you want to do a little bit more research and to buy something that's going to be quality and keep you afloat and not set you back 6 months waiting for something new to come?
I think that goes back to people not asking enough questions. Because I talked to a guy today who I mentioned the competitor uses a knockoff camera, and we obviously use the #1 camera system in the world.
Yep.
And he was like, yep, I have experience with that camera. I definitely know the lack of quality with it and don't want to go down that road again. But he didn't know the first time,
Yeah. Well, exactly. He had to go down that road. So to say, I don't want to go down that road again, tells you at one point he tried to do that. It didn't work, and it's like frustrating because how much money and time did you spend trying to get around just spending the money the first time?
Yep.
How much time and money did he waste by having an inadequate camera that he had to overcome all of its quirks?
I mean, would you say that's like buy your second machine the first time kind of a deal?
Yeah.
I think I say that, don't I?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to say, and then I go.
ShopSabre.com.
I thought we were ignoring that button today.
No, it's right there.
You mentioned the YouTube channel and not our Facebook or our website where you can go to our educational videos and watch it there.
I'm sorry.
I accept your apology.
I'm a failure. I'm a failure.
We can move on now.
We can move on.
I wanted to point that out.
Appreciate that, Chad. No. But that's the truth, though, is like you said, there is so much that people look past and they don't realize they can do with these machines because of education alone. They just don't. Like you said, Chad, you take the time to go through, hey, we use the best camera in the world on this, and we educate you on why a ShopSabre uses certain components. Are there cheaper ways for us to do things? Absolutely. I mean, I've said it a million times. I can go to China, too, and buy machines. I can put my name on a Chinese machine and send it to you. That doesn't make it a better machine. Who does it help? Me? Because I make more money on it because I paid less for it? But does it really help me? Because now my machine's not going to run the way it should. So in the long run, it really doesn't help me. Short term.
It's not going to help us, and it's going to make the tech support guys angry because they're going to have to deal
Correct.
with the system not working.
Well, if you don't care about support, okay, and you don't care about any of that, you're just looking for the short-term win.
Then let's do it.
Then, yeah, exactly. You win, right? But any company who actually cares about the long-term success of their customers, the support, all the other stuff, like it's not a good answer.
That's why I feel like we start kind of like a working relationship with people versus just selling them a product. I plan to, anybody I sell a machine to, I plan to continuing answering their phone calls and emails whenever they have them for the next, 10 years.
Right.
I don't think they're just going to never talk to me again. Like I think
Unfortunately-
the other sales guys probably have.
For other companies, you're saying? Yeah.
No, like your customers. No, just
So
kidding.
you're looking right at me like, what are you talking
Well,
about?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
don't have that, like, we're like, I talk to a customer of mine probably every few months, like continuously.
And a lot of times I don't think customers also realize that we do have machines that compete with the imports. We don't just build ball screw equipment. I mean, obviously we would love to sell it, but like I got a customer right now that
They're
just
talking
told
about
me.
cheaper machines.
Well, yeah, like the RC system, for instance.
Yep.
It's rack and pinion, just like the competitor's table, still servo, still good quality components on it. And customers say, I can't afford your machine. It's like, well, I've quoted you what I'm telling you is good. They're going to be the right machine, but if you're looking at this machine, you might as well have me quote you this machine.
I love that because when you look at that with a customer and they automatically assume because they can't afford the top of the line, Oh, I can't afford a ShopSabre. But it's like we have so many other models that we do still sell to help you not have to go overseas and end up with the crappy service and quality and all the stuff that happens and still end up with a really good machine.
Yep.
I mean, the RC is a really good machine when you compare it to the class of machine it falls into.
Yep.
But the problem is people don't want to because they've convinced themselves that they really want the Pro or the IS, but they can't afford the Pro or IS. So instead of like, okay, let's step back one level and look at an RC. Nope, I'm gonna go with this one, right? It's like, did you really go that route? And then for a lot of people, it's the exact opposite. You explain to them, hey, wait a second, we got an RC model, and they get really, really excited, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're like, I didn't think I could own a ShopSabre, but now I can because you have the RC model.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down!
And then they run around and buy a ShopSabre, right?
Well, the cool thing too is that once you start focusing on the RC and the technology, and you start talking about the pros and the cons between that and the machine you'd originally quoted them, a lot of times they're going to stretch the budget to get the machine that they originally were quoted because they know why now. It makes sense.
And well, that's the nice thing is that the RC allows you to still be competitive. Like if you just need to save money, like the RC is a great model.
Correct.
But like you said, if you can stretch the budget, you can make things work. Like there's obviously advantages to the Pro, the IS, the ISM. Each level of machine exists for a reason.
Yep.
Like we don't have different levels of machine just to have different levels of machine. Every machine has capabilities that the level before it didn't have. And you just have to determine what is the right product for your needs so that way you have the versatility and you have the capabilities that long term you're going to need with these machines, right?
Yep.
So let's talk specifics for a second here. Obviously, we've talked about a lot of things here, but I want to answer the question. What are specific things that people do not always realize that they can do on their CNC machine if equipped correctly? Like, let's go through some ideas, guys. I mean, obviously, you guys deal with customers every day, but the topic today was things you didn't realize you could do with your CNC. So let's just kind of shotgun some things at it real quick, right? Let's throw some ideas at us. But I'm going to kick it off with just doors, right? We got doors. We've talked about shaker doors, raised panel doors, these beaded and reeded doors, which we're excited to have this video coming out soon. But other things, guys. Like, what else exists that you guys see commonly with customers?
Cabinetry.
Cabinetry?
Kind of what you said, though.
Yeah, no, I like it, though, because cabinetry is its own world, right? I'm saying doors. But cabinets, let's talk about cabinets for a quick second. Like, there's multiple styles of cabinets, is there not?
Yep, frameless, face frame.
So you got a couple options there that I don't think people realize they can do those things with the machine. There's some people out there that don't realize that it's not all frameless cabinets. It's not all face frame. You can jump between them, right? So there's different levels of cabinetry that you can get into. Along the same line, I mean, what comes to mind to you guys when you think of cabinets? What other product exists out there?
We kind of talked a little bit about it earlier, but closet work, when you get into industrial work, even when you get into the garage cabinets, aluminum and plastic, the versatility there.
And that's exactly what that's exactly where I was going with it. It's what we talked about earlier, the garage stuff, the cabinets that go in your, closet or, a closet system or pharmaceutical stuff. That's another thing, like commercial cabinetry, the Walmarts and the, Walgreens, and they have cabinets. They need things, right?
Yep.
Talked to a guy who's building conveyor belts.
Isn't that cool?
I thought that was pretty cool. Plastic to go all along the guides of the...
Yeah, the conveyor guides. Yeah. That's, completely a doable thing, though. I mean, like, it's something that you don't... It's so stupid sounding, right? Because you don't think about that with a machine, but it's like, somebody's got to make those parts.
Correct.
And if you're building stuff on your machine, why not you? So... That's a good thing. Think about this. You go to any big box store, there's checkouts, is there not? Mm-hmm. Whether they're self-checkouts or they're cashiers, but there's always a checkout desk, is there not?
Yep.
Somebody had to build that.
Right.
CNC machine. Cuts those things out. Other things that come to mind, guys.
All the different kinds of signs people can make. I mean, you have raised letter signs, braille, ADA signage, and even the inlay stuff you can do on signs and cabinets.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge industry in itself. Like, you think about all the sign work. Actually, CNC Sean is a great opportunity to talk about that because Sean Morley built his business around cabinetry, right? That's what he does. Cabinets is his business. But he has a knife on his machine now. He added the knife after the fact because he ended up landing, because of his cabinet business, a big commercial job at the Mall of America. He built I believe it was the Cantina, if I'm not mistaken. The restaurant, the Cantina.
Sounds familiar.
He did all of the aluminum work for the Cantina because of his ShopSabre. Well, then as part of that, then it got him into the sign world because somebody saw that he was cutting aluminum and said, wait, can you do this material? And he got into another material that he started doing a lot of like a softer foam and that needed a knife. And he called us and bought a knife for his machine. So this cabinet shop now does a ton of cabinetry, but has the ability to do signs and, so many other materials that go alongside with that. So yeah, that's huge. Like you said, raised letter signs, Braille and ADA is huge. Lithophane work. Think about that. We did a lithophane recently of my son. That was a really cool video. Back to cabinetry, one thing I don't think I mentioned was dovetails, right? You can do dovetail drawers.
Yep.
Traditional, rounded. You can do corbels, rails, pillars, right? That stuff comes to mind where you can do, stuff for the, the railing systems. You can do so many things there. Live edge and solid surface, like you talked about earlier, Travis. You have a customer of yours doing river run tables, right?
Yep.
Being able to do, mantles for a home, the live edge stuff. We talked about aluminum, but what about brass? What about copper? We did some of that here.
Yep.
I think we have a new exciting video coming out. We're going to be cutting a giant penny. That's going to be cool.
Did the lithophane video come out yet?
It did.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Yep, it's live. It's live on our YouTube channel.
Well, I like that one video.
And on our website.
That one.
And on ShopSabre.com. Sorry, Jack. God, it's getting me again.
ShopSabre.com.
Got it. Don't worry.
People get lost in YouTube.
Yeah, you're right.
That
But-
one video too, Brandon. We did like 12 different materials,
Yeah.
all in one setting.
Correct. That's going to be something we're going to have on display at AWFS here in
Yep.
July. We're going to display that.
Was it 12?
13 different materials.
Was it 13?
Yep, 13 different materials.
That was a lot.
Yep, but
I thought it was 9.
think about plasma, the plasma world. This is all router we've talked about. What about plasma?
Right.
Fire
Signs.
pits.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. Signs, fire pits.
Smoker grills.
Yep, smoker grills, furniture. You can do I've seen guys building parts for, skid steers and lawnmowers and those kind
Hot rods.
Yeah, hot rods, cars, automotive, part scribing, railing systems. Like there's so many things in the world of plasma that you can do.
Throwing stars.
We actually have seen that.
That's a good one.
We actually have seen that though. That is true.
Shooting targets.
Yep. We have a lot of people that do AR plate.
Yep.
They cut AR plate for doing shooting targets. I mean,
Dog kennels.
dog kennels. I've not ever seen that, but I imagine that is possible.
I have.
I think you looked right at Travis.
One
when he did that, too. Oh my god! But but you're not wrong. I mean, it's really endless. I have a customer of mine that has made a lot of money doing floor drains, like at the commercial shops. The drive over floor drains. He creates those custom grates that have like company logos in it.
That's cool.
And they just set down on the floor, and that way when you pull into whatever car dealership it is, it says the dealership name in it, right? Like those type of things, like is what he does with a plasma machine.
Yep.
Like there's so many things. Like if you can't find work for a CNC machine, like are you really looking hard enough? Like there's so much work out there. I mean, Chris McCormick, who is a really good customer of ours, he's bought 3 machines now. He was hit really hard by COVID, obviously, because he was in the event production industry. Well, when COVID hit, all events were canceled. He shut his business down on a Friday because he literally didn't have any work to do. And by that next Monday, he had reopened his business and was buying another machine because over the weekend, he started trying to figure out where he could invest his time and energy in while they were not able to do events. And he developed a business that specifically built safety PPE. So he started, because he has all the printers and stuff, he started building like masks and gowns and things like that with that equipment. But then he ended up building all the plastic barriers that you put up like, between the customer and essentially the employee. I call them the sneeze barriers. And then he built the plastic face shields and he did so many other things. And he literally in one weekend got enough work where he started doing that and he literally has never looked back. Now he has his event production company that's taken back off because everything's back open now. So he's got that plus this other side of his business now. So his business is twice as big as it used to be simply because he used the versatility of the CNC machine. Like he said, without a CNC, he wouldn't have been able to do any of that.
Yep.
That's what I was going to say. If he didn't buy that initial machine, where would he be?
Out of business. He said that. He's like, I couldn't have kept my business going. There was nothing for them to do. We weren't cutting that stuff by hand. So there's so many things that became possible because he invested in equipment. And people think, oh, if I buy equipment, then I get rid of the guys. That's not always the case. Like Chris is not getting rid of any of his guys. He's just taking on more work.
Right.
And the guys that he has on his staff are able to do the work still. So the versatility of that and the things that you overlook is capabilities to expand your business well beyond your current reach. So I think that kind of, wraps up some of the ideas, right? I mean, there's probably a million other ideas that we could throw out there, but think about that list that we just threw at you, We just threw a pretty good list, but I mean, doors, cabinetry, closets, garage cabinets, industrial work. We talked about the conveyor stuff that you talked about, Chad. Raised letter signs, braille, ADA, inlay work, lithophanes, dovetails, corbels, railings, pillars, posts, live edge, solid surface, aluminum, brass, copper, and then fire pits. I mean,
Dog kennels.
Dog kennels. Yeah, Chad went with the dog kennels. There's so many things that you can do. And that's just like 4 dudes sitting around some mics here.
Just spitballing.
Spitballing. Yeah,
Yep.
like
Travis had a week to come up with all these, though.
he came up with 2. But yeah, I mean, these machines open a lot of capabilities. They reduce a lot of labor burden to your shop. You can reduce your dependency on outsourcing and other people. And lead times typically can be more controlled when you're doing it yourself, just by bringing in technology to your own fingertips. And I think when you learn how to use it properly, there's so many doors that you open.
I agree.
ShopSabre.com.
Got that one without Chad telling me. So, but no, I mean, it's truth. There's so many ways that if you're not considering a CNC machine, you should be now. Hopefully we gave you some ideas today that make you go, wait a second, I didn't think about that. And then the next thing you do is you call ShopSabre. Talk to one of our sales guys here, 952-461-4570. Give them a shout. These guys will take care of you. You can email them as well, right, guys? Both of you have emails. What's your emails?
Our first name at ShopSabre.com.
And mine's Travis at ShopSabre.com.
So Chad or Travis at ShopSabre.com. Both of them will be happy to chat with you on this. Or you can just email sales at ShopSabre. It'll go to the whole sales department. Obviously, any one of our guys will take care of you. But honestly, you should follow us on social media too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, some TikTok. I know Kyle and Jose are working on some really awesome stuff. Our social media is going to take a new life of its own here coming up, so you guys are going to want to be following us and following there. Kyle?
We have a new series premiering this week. It's called Meet the Team. We're going to be doing interviews around the shop. Definitely check that out. Trailer dropping tomorrow. Full episode dropping Friday.
Love
It'll
it.
be a weekly thing.
Nice.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. It was an idea that Kyle and Jose came up with. We're going to start doing some videos that are going to tell you a little bit about the people behind the scenes here at ShopSabre. And we're really excited about the first one that we're going to drop here this week. But we're going to be going around trying to, kind of show you about the real people that are behind the scenes of this business, because it's something you don't get when you shop overseas. Is you're not going to develop those personal relationships. You're not going to have that touch that you get here. You're going to get that whole environment of people who care and actually want to be a part of your successes. And so our goal is going to be to introduce you to people. I mean, we'll have videos coming up, obviously, of hopefully most employees. I mean, we're really going to try to continue this throughout the year and show off, who you deal with on a day-to-day basis and who makes it happen. So really excited about that. Like Kyle said, make sure you follow us. If you're not following us on all of our social media, trailer dropping tomorrow.
We have 3 separate videos on Chad alone, so he's going to be a big popular star.
I was about to say I'll be last.
He's first. We're going to redo the episode and make Chad first.
Here's the thing, though. Can we go back a few minutes? Chad said that he was going to be here for like the next 10 years to answer emails and phone calls. I thought we had a 6-month exit strategy going on here.
Well, I just want people to think that.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Pretend that I don't know anything about metallurgy, engineering, or physics, and just tell me what the hell is going on.
I'm confused here. Why is Chad leaving in 6 months and then staying for 10 years?
Live.
Oh, the Live Tour.
Yeah, see, he said he was going to be here for 10 years to answer calls, and I'm like, wait a minute. Where's my 7% going to come from?
I think he's trying to tell you something.
Isn't Live only like 8 months out of the year? So Brandon will just keep me on for the 4.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Chad will be here for the next 10 years. I've seen him golf. It's not very good.
You've never seen me go?
You haven't seen it in the last 2.5 weeks or so. Then
I saw a lot of Snapchats from Nick of you golfing.
You took Snapchats?
I didn't send any. No.
You sit on a throne of lies.
This is true.
That was me pushing that button directed at Brandon.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, no, like I said, it's there's a lot to do with these CNC machines that you can do, and hopefully today you learned something. Obviously, as you see, we have a lot of fun back and forth here, but the team is here. They want to help you. We want to answer questions. If there's something that's not clear, something we talked about today that you want to know more about, make sure you reach out to us. If you need to get your ShopSabre on order, give us a call. Go to our website, whatever is most convenient for you. But reach out to the team. Let them have a chance at your business.
We're here to help.
Did I miss anything?
I think we've hit it all.
We got it all. Maybe next week we'll get some pulled pork.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Maybe some ribs.
Natalie won't be home this weekend to mess up the smoker, so there's a good chance
Oh,
of it.
there it is.
Yes. There's a
Mic
chance.
drop.
She's lost interest in the episode by this point, so I know I can say that.
She's turning us off already.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is she never makes it through the full episode.
No, she gets about 13, 14 minutes of it, and it's over.
And she's done.
Yeah.
She checks out. That's funny. Well, with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.